I got something to admit. I met a man out in the sticks of good old Miss. He drove a Series 10 Cadillac and wore a cigar on his lip. Don't you know the devil wears a suit and tie? I saw him driving down the 61 in early July. White as a cotton field and sharp as a knife. I heard him howling as they passed me by. And he said, I know you, young man. I know you by the state of your hands. You're a six-string picker, just as I am. Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance. Don't you know the devil wears a suit and tie? I saw him driving down the 61 in early July. White as a cotton field and sharp as a knife. I heard him howling as they passed me by. Foolish was I. Damn my foolish eyes. 'Cause that man's lessons had a price, oh, a sweet price. My sweet soul, everlasting, my very own eternal life. Don't you know that the devil wears a suit and tie? I saw him driving down the 61 in early July. White as a cotton field and sharp as a knife. I heard him howling as they passed me by. Don't you know the devil wears a suit and tie? I saw him driving down the 61 in early July. White as a cotton field and sharp as a knife. I heard him howling as they passed me by.
All right, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. That was my friend Haley Schattschneider and her friend Patrik on guitar, and they were kind enough to come to the studio last night and be guinea pigs while we played around with the new Austrian audio OC818. As far as the microphone itself, it is a descendant of the 414 from AKG many years ago. When it was made in Austria, a lot of the employees of that company, when that production moved out of the country, they opened their own facility called Austrian Audio and developed this microphone here as their flagship. So they kind of went back to some of the roots of the company as far as capsule design and such, as from what I understand. But they made a very modern microphone with lots of bells and whistles we've rarely seen before, that's for sure. So let's just take a look at the front of the mic. 4 different polar patterns. We have figure 8, we have supercardioid, we have cardioid, and we have omni. Now, where it changes up a little bit, in the middle here, where it has the cardioid emblem, you'll notice another little black cardioid emblem in reverse. That's because this has 2 outputs. So we have the standard output right here if we're just going to use it as a standard microphone. But we have this extra little mini jack here that comes with a cable that branches out into an XLR adapter, so you can actually record the front capsule and the back capsule. Or if you want to change the orientation of it, you can consider this left and right. And so you record both, and then you can alter it later with a plugin, and we'll dive into that shortly. Now, if you go all the way to the right past Omni, you get to the black circle. Now, that is an optional USB dongle device that you can add to it, and you can plug that in and actually control it in real time with your phone in live settings, which is extremely wild to think about. But now we didn't need that. So what we did last night is we just kept it right here in the middle, recorded both capsules, so we could then go in and play with it in real time on camera so you guys can kind of see what this is capable of. But under that, we do also have 4 different pad positions. We have 0 pad, we have 40 cycles, 80 cycles, and 160. Then we have 2 different pad positions. We have 0, of course, and then we have minus 10 dB and minus 20 dB in case we're going to put it over drum overheads or in front of a loud trumpet or something like that. It's a very attractive mic. I really like it. I like that silver finish. It kind of harkens back to the old 414s, the original ones. So that said, let's take a look here. So we have the guitar and what it sounds like. This is front and back capsule playing at the same time. Now, the way I chose to do it, instead of having it sideways to do, more of a true stereo left and right, I faced it at the guitar. And that way you could hear the front capsule by itself and know, hey, what does this mic sound like on a guitar? Just in the way that any microphone would sound on a guitar. But then I also recorded the back so we could kind of play with the plug-in. This is the front capsule. Let's just take a listen with no treatment, because I had some EQ and some things, a little reverb on the mix that we did. But here is the raw. Okay, now this is the back capsule. So that's facing away from the guitar. Exactly what you would expect. It's facing away from the instrument. So the two combined in mono, let's put that group back on, sound like this. I mean, it sounds great. There's no phasing issues because the capsules are, right sandwiched together just right here. But now let's put this plug in on it and start playing with the guitar. So this is where it gets interesting. So check one more time without me talking. I'm going to play mono, both capsules, and then I'm going to switch over to the same thing with the plug-in in its just default setting, okay? Because this was fun, because I got to confess, I played with it for a couple minutes before we went live, so I didn't look like a complete idiot. All right, here we go. Now, here's where it gets exciting. So we have this plug-in on top of it, and we put it into a stereo track. Just know going in, you have to use a stereo track. And you'll see that it's split into 5 bands by default. Now, you can do less if you want to have less control and maybe use less DSP right here. See the band selection? So you can kind of, reduce probably some of the horsepower your computer needs to run it. You can save presets, recall presets, just all that kind of stuff. But check this out. See this line right here? That means everything is in Omni. So let's say we want the bottom end to be nice and tight, and we want it to be in cardioid. No stereo spread there. You just drag it, and you can go anywhere in between. Look at that, all the way up to figure 8. See the pattern on screen right here? That's the low frequency below 150 cycles. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And you can also click anywhere in here to change every band, or just drag and drop, one at a time. So check it out. Let's start having some fun. Looks like you can also just click right here. Yeah, check that out. So you can take each band one at a time and kind of change the orientation of it. That's cool. So this is I'm assuming this means it's the back capsule, because you see cardioid, but it's the reverse. So that probably means I would think you would have phasing issues, but maybe that's like if you want that to hollow a certain frequency range out. We can move these points around, by the way, but let's just keep it at its default settings. But now we can play with the EQ of each band as well. So let's say we thought it was boxy at this 200 to 500 band. Let's just play with that. Maybe we thought it was thin. But obviously it's going to do that, I would think, with absolute minimum phase shift. I mean, it should be extremely clean, a way of doing this kind of a thing. The high band, check it out. We'll go, looks like that's set to around 8K. Let's listen to just kind of boosting 8K. This was a feature that I thought was cool. I see a solo, so we can really hear, okay, so we want to dial in just an issue on the bottom end. Let's say we think it's around 150 cycles to around 500 or something like that, okay? We can solo that band up and know if that's our problem or not. Solo the low band. Let's set that for 120, and we just cut it. And there you basically have a high pass filter, right? A little of that boominess on the bottom end is gone. So let's take that back to its, let's just go back to the default settings. Now here's another thing that I see that seems like it would be cool: proximity control. So let's kind of check that out in real time. Okay, so that could be cool. So if we need, if we have a thin female vocal and we want to add some proximity effect, or if we have an acoustic guitar, that's recorded in front of the sound hole and it's kind of boomy, we could reduce the proximity. So that's cool. I'm just keeping the equalization control knob in off. Peeked at the manual. It seemed like this free field and diffuse field was effective at altering the control you would have, whether or not it was recorded in a reverberant environment or a very dry environment. So that really, I don't think that will really be something that we need to dive into. But what we'll do, let's just keep playing and moving things around and seeing what we. I think my favorite is to take the bottom end and the low mids and put that in cardioid, and then leave the top end. Right now it's looking like we're set to around 500, but we could even go up to 1K or so, and then leave just the top in cardioid for just a little air. If you bypass the plugin, you hear one capsule on the left and one capsule on the right, so it's an exaggerated odd effect. So what we'll do, just for grins and giggles, is we're going to solo up the mono front and back and listen to it, and then compare it to what we've got going on now. Yeah, I hear a little ambience, a little air around the top end now. So anyway, that's just some amazing technology, man, for the win. So that said, I did the same thing for her vocal. I don't know really what to expect. I did not play with this in advance. I wanted you guys to join me in real time and just kind of see what we were getting into here on the on a vocal. So same thing. I did not record it on the side, so I had left and right. I recorded it front and back, and that way, when I solo up her vocal on just the front cardioid capsule, you'll know exactly what it sounds like as far as a vocal mic. I found it to be really warm. I thought it was smooth. I was not expecting it. I think because of the legacy of the 414s that this is kind of derived from. I thought it was going to be a lot brighter and a lot more exaggerated on the top end than it is. It's actually very smooth. This is a female singer that I've worked with before that has some form of sibilance, and the sibilance was actually very nice and controlled and smooth. I very much liked the sound of it on her vocal, as you will hear here.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance. Don't you know the devil wears a suit and tie? I saw him drive.
Okay, now just as you expect, the back capsule is going to sound like it's facing the wrong direction.
Let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
You can hear the sound echoing off the glass in the booth for sightlines. You can hear that. So this could be fun. When we get it into the Polar Designer, I'm not sure what we're going to run into. So let's go to our factory default setting.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
Let's just start playing with polar patterns. So let's take this to cardioid, this to cardioid, that to cardioid maybe.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
Yeah. Now, what if we left just the high end in Omni?
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
It's got a little bit of natural room sound in it that way, doesn't it? Check that out.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns.
All right, so let's bypass that. Go to just the front capsule in mono and check it out.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
Now let's check the stereo, whatever we want to call it, version. Check this out.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
One thing that I'm learning real quick, the space that you're in is going to greatly impact the sound of the back capsule. So if I would have had her in a larger environment, it probably would have sounded astonishingly different than glass being about 4 feet away from her.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance. Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance. Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
Okay, I'm hearing just a little air and space around just the top end now, but everything else is pretty tight. In fact, I'd probably just keep the low end and complete cardioid too.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
Now, what that did by increasing the omnidirectional portion of the top end, it's magnified the high frequency, as you heard. So let's dial the high frequency down just a little bit to compensate for the apparent boost.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
Okay, cool. Now let's go back to just pure mono front capsule.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
Now the Polar designed version.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
It's subtle, but by the way that we've done it, we've got just a little increase in the excitement of the air of the room. Now let's play with the proximity control on a female singer. This could be fun.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
Now, we could also, of course, do some EQ stuff if we wanted to right here. So let's hear this range.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns.
Males, female voices, depending on the registers, there's certain areas where we have a little buildup. So she, as you can hear, between 2 and 4K, there's an energy thing going on. So let's see where these how far these will let us drag those around. So that'd be 1K to 4K. Let's see if we go to all the way down to 2200. How far south can we go here? 7K. Okay, so what if I got an idea. What if we go to 3-band version and we set that for around 4K-ish, and this one at 1K, and then listen.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to.
Okay, I see. So these two aren't active. Okay, we're just learning on the fly. We're learning on the fly. Nothing wrong with that, is there? So let's go back to 4 bands, and we'll set that to 4K. We'll set this to 1K. Or no, okay, we can drag it all the way up to 2. So now what we can do, solo this up. Now, we could decrease that a little bit to just kind of almost re-EQ a little bit.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
Take a little of that energy in the what would be the harsh range out.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
Just playing. Let's see how much different that is than just the standard mono cardioid.
Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance. Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
Definitely a little bit more control in that upper mid section. Well, let's see if we can just identify some mud. Let's see.
Let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance.
So we could, if we wanted to, reduce that a little bit.
Let me learn you something. I know a few turns to make all the girls dance. Well, let me learn you something. I know a few turns.
It's a lot to wrap your head around, for sure. But nonetheless, we can see that it's wildly capable of lots of things. And I think what I will do at some point is I can see the benefit of taking this and turning it vertical as a set of drum overheads and using one mic. I would love to hear that. I would love to hear that on acoustic guitar. Maybe an orchestral room. That could be fun. I was afraid to do that last night. I just got the one mic, and I was afraid to not be able to give you guys the sound of this. Those are completely flat. Her vocal went without any EQ, without any compression. So when you download these tracks, you'll get to hear this mic with just the high-pass filter. So I think I had it set to 80 cycles on both sources, no pad. So you're going to just really get to know the sound of the mic. But that's a great guitar sound. That is not what I was expecting from the mic. That's not bright. That's not hyped on the top end whatsoever. That's very warm, very rich. On her vocal, one more time, let's take just a listen to a couple spots.
I met a man out in the sticks of good old Miss. He drove a Series 10 Cadillac and wore a cigar on his lip.
That's a great sound. That's a great sound. Very, very usable. Very clean. I intentionally went into a preamp. I used the Moog Pre-Q2, which is transformer-based, but it's a very clean transformer, very transparent transformer as far as transformers go. And so that way it was nice and rich to some degree, but not colored like a Neve transformer would have done for us. So anyway, thanks for joining in. I was really anxious to get my hands on one of these and play with it. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well, and hope you enjoy these multi-tracks. So thanks for watching, guys.